I am the fourth plague of beasts, and I got the thunder dragon fruit at the beginning. Chapter 1. Calm Belt. On an island somewhere. A man opened his eyes in confusion. He rubbed his eyes and sat up and looked around. Where is this? Shouldn't I be on my luxurious bed? He looked around curiously. This is a beach, and there are some hermit crabs foraging around, and there are some crabs on him. After getting rid of these, just as he was about to stand up and check the surrounding situation. But unexpectedly, my brain felt a twinge of pain. Hiss. When he reacted, he knew exactly where this place was. This is the world of pirates. I didn't expect that I would actually come to the world of pirates. Should I say it's good luck or bad luck? Shake his head. According to my memory, it is now the beginning of 1520. This man was killed by members of the CP organization because he looked at the female celestial dragons one more time, and he had the opportunity to come to this world. His name is Ce. Because he stayed up late at night watching anime, he unexpectedly saw it at 10 o'clock in the morning. After waking up, he came to this world. They come, the security. Maybe we can break into another world. After standing up, he observed the beach. The entire beach was like a crescent moon, and behind him was a dense jungle, from which the roars of ferocious beasts could sometimes be heard. In his previous life, he had also watched many wilderness survival documentaries. If he wanted to live on a desert island, the first factor was fresh water resources, as well as food and shelter. Looking at the hermit crabs around, these are relatively rich in protein and can be stored as food. One step forward. Dip. The God-level Krypton Gold system is activated. System binding. Binding successful. Ce was stunned. Is this the standard equipment for time travelers? Hey, hello host, the system has been successfully bound. Do you want to open the newbie luxury gift package? You were so brave from the beginning. Then what are you waiting for? Goozy, open the luxurious gift package. Beep. Successful activation. Congratulations on getting Zone Fish Fruit Phantom Beast Species Thunder Dragon Form, Marine 6 Styles, Skilled. Buzz. Kakaka. Ce just felt a roar in her brain, and an inexplicable force traveled throughout her body. The blood in her body began to boil, her muscles began to activate, and her bones seemed to be growing again. Ah! A scream rang through the sky, frightening the birds near the beach to fly away. After waiting for a while, Ce finally recovered from the pain. At this time, he only felt that his body was particularly light, as if he was not as bulky as before. Then he came to a still pool and looked at his whole body. His appearance is still as resolute as before, with a face as sharp as a knife and a sparkle in his eyes. After the baptism just now, his body has strong muscles and his height is impressively 1.98 meters. Extracting fruit. There was a flash of brilliance. A pure white fruit appeared on the hand, with dragon scales on it, and a trace of electric current flowing through it. No more wasting time, just take a bite and start eating. It's quite crisp when you bite it in your mouth. As I chewed faster and faster, I didn't feel any taste. Is this a fake fruit? Ce murmured. Because according to the anime, the devil fruit tastes very unpleasant, but the taste of this fruit is completely different, sweet and crisp. It doesn't matter, as long as you can get the ability, it doesn't matter at all. After eating the whole fruit, Ce didn't feel much yet. And 10 seconds later. Boom, boom, boom. A sound like a war drum echoed in the air. At this time, Ce's hair began to emit traces of electric arcs, and they were getting bigger and bigger. Click rub. Even the hair has begun to stand up, and that's not all, arcs have also begun to appear around it. Crackling. When Ce saw this scene, it was amazing. Just step on the 6 postures and step into the sky. It was at this time that layers of dark clouds began to appear in the sky, covering the area visible to the naked eye. These dark clouds seemed to have been infected by ink, and were as black as an abyss. Click click click. Arm-thick thunder and lightning flashed in it, making it look like this thunder and lightning was not easy to mess with. And this is exactly what Ce wants. Rumble. The thunder and lightning on Ce's body became more and more fierce, like a thunder beast about to break out of its shell. And he was also like a lightning rod. The thunder and lightning in the black clouds seemed to be guided by something, and began to gather directly on Ce's head. When Ce saw this scene, there was no change in his face. Boom. The thunder and lightning on the dark clouds seemed to have gathered momentum and struck directly towards Ce. Click rub. The entire lightning was white, as thick as an arm, and struck Ce head-on. At this time, his body shape also began to change. Dragon scales had grown all over his body, and dragon-like and deer-like antlers began to appear on his head. At this time, lightning struck directly on him, and his body was filled with crackling lightning. Thunder and lightning spread like thunder snakes, and the entire sky was visible to the naked eye, shining on the entire sky like a small sun. Click. As the thunder and lightning above became stronger and stronger, the entire time from the thickness of an arm to the thickness of a bucket was only about 10 seconds. And its white light is getting bigger and bigger. In the end, the white light finally dissipated, leaving behind the sound of thunder and lightning, just like in a thunder pool. Ce looked down at the entire land at this time, and then looked at the dragon's tail 100 meters away. At this time, he had changed drastically. At this time, his whole body was covered by thunder and lightning, and he had suddenly turned into a giant dragon, with white scales all over his body, and his length could reach 100 meters. Moreover, the physical body is also exceptionally powerful, and the speed has also been increased. Ho! The roar spread to the surrounding area, shaking the surrounding wind, and even the sea water began to boil. On the island just now, there were still roars of ferocious beasts, but after Ce roared, some ferocious beasts stopped roaring, as if they had encountered some formidable enemy. At this time, there was a marine military base on the calm belt, where marines were stationed. A marine vice admiral held a telescope and looked at the place where the dark clouds had gathered just now, with a suspicious expression on his face. Logically speaking, there should not be such a large gathering of dark clouds in the calm belt, and there are thunder and lightning flashing above, indicating that something is going on. And just now he vaguely heard a roar, but when he wanted to hear it again, there was no sound. Shaking his head, he just regarded it as a natural disaster, because in the past, only manpower could be used. A bit of a waste of time. Island. Ce landed on the beach, and his temperament changed at this time. And there are pieces of white dragon scales on the left shoulder, and arcs of electricity are flashing. Guzi, open the panel. The next moment, a light blue panel appeared in front of his eyes. Host. Ce. Strength. Vice Admiral. Fruit. Zone fish fruit phantom beast species thunder dragon form. Hockey. None. Technique. Marine 6 styles proficient. Backpack. None. Noble level. 0. Ce was confused, why is there such a level as nobility? The things on my panel are simple and clear. Then look at the function below, the lucky wheel. A huge roulette wheel appeared in front. Click on the reward preview, and there are hockey's improvement, fruit awakening, elimination of side effects, etc. above. Even Ce swallowed his saliva when looking at the things on it. These things are so good. At the top of the roulette wheel is the recharge entrance with the first recharge discount, and below are single draws, 10 consecutive draws, and a lucky value. Ce was confused. He was wondering why this looked so familiar. And there are first deposit discounts, lucky values, single draws and 10 consecutive draws on it. Isn't this the pesticide version? It is indeed a Krypton gold system. There is also a hidden area below, which says VIP 10 can view it. I'm asterisk 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 asterisk. Finally I know why there are nobles on the panel. He had just awakened from the system and was given a thunder dragon fruit as a gift. He thought the system was very generous, but he didn't expect it to be waiting for him here. Clicking on the recharge entrance, a dark hole suddenly appeared. Is this the recharge hole? Ce wondered. There is also a thoughtful reminder on it, anything can be recharged, the final right of interpretation belongs to the system. What a dog, he's more ruthless than any other country, Ce murmured to himself. Close the system interface. Since it is a Krypton gold system, you need to make money. As for where to make money, Ce also has a general idea, but he still needs a detailed plan, otherwise he may be caught with his own strength. And this place is still calm belt, which means there must be no ships passing nearby. Then he looked at the sky and soared directly into the sky. At this time, he transformed into a 100-meter giant dragon and flew into the distance on the flame cloud. A few hours later, flying in the air, Ce finally saw a small town. He directly transformed into a human form and landed in the small town. The life around me is pretty peaceful here. After exchanging the beasts I killed for gold coins, I went to buy some clothes. At this time, he was wearing light blue clothes, even if it was covered, his muscle outline was obvious, and his lower body was wearing black pants and black shoes. And there are 2 white dragon horns on his head, which makes people afraid to approach him. Jingle. Pushing the door open and entering a tavern, everyone inside heard the sound and looked around. Seeing that it was a man, he continued to enjoy the wine. After he also ordered a glass of wine, he began to listen to the comments from the people around him. Hey, did you hear that? What? That's the news from Marine. First heard that Marine is planning to recruit some people, they seem to be new soldiers. Marine. Haha, what's the point of Marine now? He might as well be a pirate. Boom. At this time, the door of the tavern was suddenly pushed open, and a big man with a height of 2 meters walked in step by step wearing leather shoes, with other people behind him. Well, I smelled that unique pirate smell when I came in. Who is it? Someone nearby also started talking immediately. Who is this? It's Bandit Kroll. Haha, it turns out to be him. Is he planning to collect protection money? It's just him, and he still charges protection money. Seeing that no one responded to him, Kroll didn't feel a little embarrassed at all. Instead, they sat boldly and grandiosely on a chair. The chair creaked and some boys came behind them. Hey, where are the pirates? While he was patrolling, he looked at everyone, as if he was selecting a target. See sitting on the side frowned. Why is this section so familiar? Probably not. See thought to herself. When he just thought of this, Kroll pointed his finger at him. See's eyes widened and she was speechless. How could it be like this? It's you, what are you doing with your eyes so wide? Kroll said while pointing his finger at Ce. Come here, you pirate, you still want to be the king of this town. Don't even ask me if Kroll agrees. This town is protected by me, Kroll. If you want to do something here, you have to pay a protection fee. Yes, protection money. The younger brother behind him also followed suit, which shows how smoothly he was doing this. As for whether the other party is a real pirate, he doesn't care at all. What he wants to do is to act as a deterrent, so that he can collect protection fees from others later. Hey, kid, why haven't you come over yet? Do you want me to invite you over? Ce shakes his head. There really are such coincidences in this world, and I met him, hey. After saying that, he walked straight towards Kroll. After seeing this, Kroll's smile grew bigger and bigger. Because his plan is about to come true. Aren't you quite obedient? Kroll said with a smile. Ce doesn't want to listen to the other party's nonsense at all. Thunder gun. Ce turned her fingers into a gun, and thunder and lightning flashed instantly on her hand. Only a hissing sound was heard, and the other party's voice suddenly stopped. On the other side, Kroll's head exploded like a watermelon, with red and white things flying everywhere. Even the boy next to him didn't react and was directly splashed in the face by the red and white thing. They were still confused at this time. He killed the boss. Go ahead, kill him. A younger brother said, raising his knife and rushing towards Ce. Even the other younger brothers responded. The moment they rushed out, their death was confirmed. Snap! Ce snapped his fingers, and those present only saw a flash of white light, and the bandit's younger brother immediately died with a headshot. Bang bang bang. Throughout the tavern, there were all the sounds of falling to the ground and the sound of being shot in the head. Everyone was silent. Even some people who were drinking had their cups hovering in front of their mouths and couldn't get any closer. They looked at all this in shock. Who is this man? So brave. Whose general is this person? Someone secretly thought in his heart. After Ce left, they started to quarrel. Although Kroll was said to be a bandit here and had been robbing here for so long, he didn't expect that this time he would hit a brick wall. Ce doesn't care what they discuss. After his inquiring, he soon found out the general location of the bandit's residence. And the reason why he did this was to see how much treasure this bandit had. It was only after I went to see that I discovered the problem. I don't even know where the heavenly gold is now, so I still plan to grab the heavenly gold. So the plan could only go to waste. Just when he was about to give up, the bandit appeared in front of him. His eyes suddenly lit up and he planned to give it a try. Half an hour later, he finally saw the place where the other bandit lived. After all the boys outside were dealt with, we came to the bandit's treasure house. There are several treasure chests and some weapons inside. I don't know if these weapons will be recognized by the Krypton Gold system. Then he opened the Krypton Gold system and clicked on recharge. Recharge failed. There is no way to open other treasure chests. There are some Baileys and some gold in them, and of course some antique artifacts. After throwing all these into the recharge port, he waited quietly. At this time, the exchange ratio above was also displayed. In the end, all these things could only be exchanged for 10 million belly. Ce. Guzi, I have so many things, and I can only exchange them for this little money. Did you swallow them? Dog. System. I originally wanted to look towards the bright moon, but the bright moon shines on the ditch. This system's exchange is absolutely fair, just and open. Ce raised his eyebrows. What kind of talk is this, and it is fair and open? If you don't continue to argue with him, you will still see your balance. The balance shown above is 10 million belly. Then look at the single draw below, which is a draw of 10 million belly. Are so dark. Ce took a deep breath, suppressed her ups and downs, and could only grit her teeth. I hope I can enter the soul in one shot. With that said, he directly clicked on single draw. The wheel spins rapidly. Ce was dazzled by the things on it, and the pointer started to move. As his eyes moved, the pointer finally stopped. Finally, it stopped in front of a question mark on the roulette wheel. There was everything in this question mark. Ce was excited and wanted to try to see the effect of opening a blind box. A black box floated in front of him with a big question mark on it. Rub your hands together and click open. A burst of white light flashed across, and Ce felt extremely dazzling. Ce was overjoyed. Could it be that he had flashed? Hey, congratulations on getting a piece of information. Ce, who looked happy just now looks incredulous. He thought he was a European emperor, but it turned out to be a piece of information. After extracting information, a piece of paper immediately appeared in Ce's hand. After opening it, Ce found that it was a map, and there were directions and routes on the map. No. Ce murmured to himself, thinking that it might not be that intelligence. Then I looked at the top and saw the words top secret, the golden travel route map in the sky. You really get whatever you want. Ce shook his head. Collecting this heavenly gold transport map, Ce headed directly into the distance. This time there was only one copy, and there was not much time left. The location was still in the second half of the Grand Line. Ce is speechless, he still needs to go to the second half. But there is no other way. In order to become stronger, we can only use Krypton Gold. After coming out, Ce took a merchant ship for the second half of the voyage. But there is a transit point called Sabayati Archipelago. The trees here are huge, reaching up to the sky, and there are different areas. This is also in front of the red line in the middle of the Grand Line. There are all kinds of businessmen. No one is in charge of any business here, but you can't confusion occurs. And there are slaves being sold here, and the rulers are the celestial dragons. There is also the famous character, Rayleigh, who is the deputy of Roger Pirates. Even the naval headquarters is nearby, also to better protect the celestial dragons. After Ce arrived here, a dreamlike scene unfolded before his eyes. Huge bubbles, like countless balloons floating in the air. These bubbles come in different colors, some are transparent, some are white, and some are colored. They sparkle under the sunlight, just like a dreamy rainbow. There are also some towering trees and tangled tree roots on the ground. Ce couldn't help but be shocked by the spectacle after seeing this. In the entire pirate world, everything is highlighted with a big character. After getting off the boat, Ce first briefly understood the general situation. There was no supernova here yet. Walking on the road, the people around you are all of different shapes. Some have horns on their heads, and some have power fruits. Ce turned her eyes left and right and looked around with a cold expression. There were novel things everywhere, and of course there were some delicious food, but Ce didn't dare to try them. After all, there was everyone here. After he landed on the island, there were two people following him. Ce also noticed it, and he wanted to see what these people were going to do. He went more and more remote, and sometimes he deliberately avoided people. The two stalkers behind him were naturally happy to see this scene. After all, it would be easier for them to take action. In an alley, a person suddenly appeared in front of Ce and blocked his way, and a person also came behind him. He knew that this was an opportunity that the other party had spotted. After all, he was guiding him step by step. In front is a man with a beard, tall and muscular, wearing a black suit, and he has a pair of horns on his head. Behind him is a round body and a round head, and his appearance is indeed somewhat similar to Fukuro. The legs are short and thin, the chin has a beard, and the hair is green. Ce just squinted his eyes in front and behind. He was very familiar with these two people, namely Bluno and Otonashi Fukuro. Both of them are also members of the CP9 organization, and he wonders why the other person came here. What are you doing here? Ce asked. Bluno said, come with us and avoid the pain of your skin. We just wanted to take you somewhere. His face was expressionless when he said it. Because that's what CP members are. Ce narrowed his eyes. He knew that the person in front of him, Bluno, had the fruit power of the Paramesha fruit, which could ignore space, location, invisible objects, or the human body. Even he himself can be regarded as a door. The other one, Otonashi Fukuro, has no fruit, but his anti-Roku style is Grandmaster. What if I don't go? Then only if we invite you over. Bluno replied. The air suddenly became quiet. Shave. Otonashi Fukuro disappeared and appeared behind Ce the next moment. At the same time, Bluno also appeared next to Ce at this time, and then immediately opened a door. The whole process takes just a moment. And Ce will not be caught by them like this. Shave. With a swishing sound, Ce also disappeared. This caused a brief pause for both of them, confusion on their faces. Then, Ce appeared 5 meters behind them. Bluno squinted his eyes. Who are you? Why do you know our techniques? But Ce will not give them time, because the most important thing in fighting here is time. If it is not solved quickly, it may attract more people. Sizzle. The sound of electricity immediately appeared on the scene. Shave. Ce used the 6 moves again and rushed towards the two of them, with arcs of electricity flashing on his hands. After the two saw this, they knew that the person opposite might have some skills, so they needed to hold him back. After the two looked at each other, Bluno closed the door and opened it again 10 meters away. Shave. Otonashi Fukuro had just finished speaking and was about to use the 6 styles to escape, but the next moment Ce had come to his right. He hurriedly performed the next 6 postures. Paper arts. This is a defensive measure that neutralizes an attack. Ce carried thunder and lightning in his hand and blasted it directly towards the opponent. Just after making contact with the other party's body has become a little soft, and he seems to be pushing 1,000 pounds. And Ce will not miss this opportunity. The other hand directly grabbed the opponent's arm, and then came towards him. The hand also changed rapidly. It was still a fist before, but in the next moment it directly turned into finger pistol, one of the 6 postures. Otonashi Fukuro's eyes also saw the change in the other party, but it was too late. One finger penetrated directly towards his heart. Puff. The entire chest has been penetrated, and it is not over yet. Ce retracts his right hand, and then sends out a finger pistol again. Phew. Just hearing a voice, blood spilled from the corner of Otonashi Fukuro's mouth. He wanted to speak again, wanted to say many words, but it was too late, and the light in his eyes gradually began to dim. Snap. Otonashi Fukuro's whole body fell to the ground. Bluno, who was 10 meters away, saw Ce grabbing Fukuro. He secretly thought something was wrong and immediately used the gate fruit to get closer to the opponent, but it was still too late. Fukuro, the voice was roaring. Then he looked at Ce with blood-red eyes, like an angry bull, breathing heavily through his nose. Ce will not show mercy to anyone, as long as they stand in the way, everyone will die. Shave. Ce disappeared again. Bluno just wanted to close the door and retreat, but it was too late. When the other party was about to close the door, Ce grabbed him, twisted his neck, and pulled him out of the door. The strength of the two was completely different. Ce just dealt with it casually, but the other party was already dying. Tell me, where are you going to take me? Cough cough cough. Bluno was lying on the ground at this time and he was looking at the sky. Haha, it's okay to tell you. I'm going to take you to the experimental base. Experimental base. Ce wanted to ask again, but Bluno had already died. Since then, 2 members of CP9 have died. After checking for a while to confirm that he was dead, he collected the useful things and left directly. He immediately stood up and turned around to leave. After Ce came out, he took a deep breath. Then, after he bought a boat, he headed for the gold in the sky. He hoped that this sea gold could satisfy him and increase his strength. As for why he didn't turn into a thunder dragon, it was because he wanted to keep some strength. Since then, he has also arrived at the second half of the Grand Line, and there is no flag on the ship. Ce stood on the board and looked at the map in his hand. According to the route, it should still take almost 3 days. Later, he sometimes ate and sometimes exercised on the boat. And sometimes I would use the 6 styles to check the situation in the air. 5 hours after Ce left. In the dark alley, there were suddenly 2 swish sounds, and the bodies of Bluno and Otonashi Fukuro appeared out of thin air. He wears a white suit and a black hat with doves on his shoulders. This guy's name is Rob Lucci. The person next to him is called Kaku. He has a long nose and wears a peaked cap. Captain, both of them are dead, Kaku said. Rob Lucci didn't speak, but his shoulders were shaking a little. Almost a few seconds later, Rob Lucci said in a cold tone, Che, find out who that person is, and issue a wanted order. I will make him pay a heavy price. Yes. On the sea. Ce traveled for 2 days and he didn't meet anyone else. It was as if the sea was calm and there was no danger. If he hadn't watched the relevant anime, he might actually believe it. Sure enough, while driving on the sea, a ship suddenly appeared on his left. There is also a skull on the flag of this ship, which means that the other party is a pirate, and the speed is getting faster and faster. Soon the other party approached Ce, cheering and hooking the boat directly with a hook. Then some people waved knives and came directly along the rope. These people came over first to see the situation. Then the 2 boats slowly came closer, and the 2 sides no longer needed any ropes. When some boys came over, they originally thought there would be a big battle, but they found nothing, no one. Ha ha ha. At this time a voice sounded. The younger brother also immediately got out of the way. A tall, middle-aged man with a knife at his waist, dark brown skin and messy black hair, laughed and slowly came to the splint. He smiled and looked around. Originally, he thought that if he robbed a ship, he would get a huge harvest or treasure. But after the younger brothers got out of the way, something was different from what I imagined. What about those who were suppressed? What about the river of blood on the boat? What about the people's pleas? Where are these? There was literally no one on the deck, which made him feel a little helpless. Gemma Watt, a great pirate with 50 million belly, can actually rob an empty ship. But who knew the next moment, a younger brother would come to report. Boss, we found a person on the top of the boat. Gemma Walter's eyes lit up, and he thought he was going to leave empty-handed. Then he took all the boys and headed towards the top of the ship. After he arrived at the top of the boat in a hurry, what he saw was a man wearing sunglasses and sunbathing. This scene was once again something he couldn't handle. He immediately yelled angrily, Boy, where are the other people on your ship? And where is your treasure? I advise you to hand it over. I am a great pirate of 50 million belly, named Gemma Walter. When he said it, he still looked proud. Ce took off her sunglasses at this time, and then looked at Gemma Walter who had just rushed up. Who are you? Ce asked, as if she had just woken up. Gemma Walter held back the anger in her heart and said, Let me ask you, where are your other crew members? And where are your treasures? Hand them all over, and we may be able to spare your life. What? Crew? It's just me. Treasure? There's none. Do you want to give it to me? Of course, I don't mind if you give it to me. Okay, it seems you have a tough mouth. Boss, let me try. I will make the other party speak and spit out all the treasures. At this time, an afro came to Gemma Walter to ask for help. Gemma Walter turned to look at the other party, and finally nodded. Then a younger brother immediately took out a stool and asked his boss to sit up. Gemma Walter glanced at her younger brother, her eyes filled with admiration. The other person was clearly discerning. Sitting up and looking at Siyi with a smile, he wanted to see how hard the other person's mouth was. The Afro held a pair of pliers and glanced at the two boys beside him. The two younger brothers understood and immediately walked towards Siyi. All they had to do was control each other. But before he got close to Siyi, his head exploded like a watermelon. The remaining boys were stunned, not expecting this to happen again, and some people started to retreat directly. Because they also know that the other party may be a demon fruit power. Gemma Walter had a smile on his face just now, but after seeing the ability displayed by the other party, he couldn't help but be a little surprised. He didn't expect to meet a person with fruit abilities. If that was the case, then he would be in high spirits. Because for every demon fruit power, the wealth accumulated must be very large, and it can also recruit pirates who are against it. He stood up directly and looked at Siyi with a smile. I didn't expect you to still have demon fruit power. It really surprises me. But now that you killed my people, shouldn't you give me an explanation? Siyi also sat up at this time and took off his sunglasses. Who are you? Do you want me to give you an explanation? Gemma Walter was very surprised. She didn't expect the other party to speak so forcefully. Haha, you really have a character. Listen up, my name is Gemma Walter, and I am the leader of the Night Pirates. The current bounty is 50 million Baileys. When he said this, there was a look of pride on his face. It was as if he was the one standing at the top now and the world should revolve around him. Never heard of it. Siyi shook his head. Some of the boys exclaimed. Gemma Walter's face turned a little dark at this time, but then she rolled her eyes. Since the other party doesn't know me, it's possible that the other party is a newbie who just came out and hasn't raised any flags yet. Haha, little brother, since you don't know me, it doesn't matter. Why don't you join our pirate group? Our pirate group may be a small pirate group now, but it may not be long before it becomes a large pirate group. Then I will directly give you a deputy captain. How about it? He was trying to make a big deal for Siyi at this time, because such a novice would definitely be easy to fool when he went to sea. When the time comes, he will be tightly bound to his pirate ship, and then he will become that kind of powerful pirate group. When the time comes, it will become bigger and bigger, becoming the new four emperors. The more Gemma Walter thought about it, the smile on her face never stopped. And Siyi didn't want to answer him at all. Do you really think he is a novice? In his previous life, he already knew what pi was, so these were all little tricks. Seeing that the other party didn't answer, Gemma Walter thought he was thinking. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, he finally lost his patience and squinted his eyes. How about it? Have you considered joining our pirate group, and you will be given the title of vice captain later on? Siyi still didn't answer. Boy, I advise you not to toast or drink as a penalty. Our boss personally invites you. It's to give you face. Don't be ungrateful. Boom. The little brother who just spoke had his head exploded. You speak too loudly, Siyi said, stroking her fingers. Gemma Walter's face twitched at this time. The other party was killing his younger brother under his nose, so he didn't take him seriously. Boy, you're killing my little brother now. Why do you want to fight me? Haha, I'm not bragging. I guess your hair hasn't even grown yet, right? I advise you to join us to avoid suffering the physical pain. At this time, it is a threat. After all, if the temptation is not enough, then it can be replaced by temptation. Often for some noobs, if the inducement fails, the only thing left is a threat. Hey, isn't it good to live? Why do you have to seek death? The last thing I like is to be threatened. He stood up and walked towards Gemma Walter step by step. But with every step he took, arcs began to appear all over his body. With every step he took, the arc became more powerful. When she came a few meters away from Gemma Walter, Siyi's eyes were now blue, and she could see that they were filled with thunder and lightning, and her body was surrounded by electric arcs, like high-voltage electricity. Gemma Walter also swallowed his saliva at this time. When had he seen this scene before? The other boys were very proud just now, with their heads raised to the sky. But at this time, everyone lowered their heads for fear of being noticed by Siyi. Although Gemma Walter felt a little scared inside now, she still stood up. Because as a veteran demon fruit power, could it be said that he is still afraid of this new fledgling of the other party? Ouch. Gemma Vort shouted to the sky. And his body shape is also changing, ka ka ka. He was still in human form just now, but now he transformed into a 4-meter-tall werewolf in a short period of time. CE also confirmed what kind of fruit ability the opponent has. It should be the zone werewolf form fruit. Gemma Walter transformed into a black werewolf, his hands turned into sharp claws, and he stared at CE fiercely with his teeth open. The look in his eyes was as if CE was food. Haha, it's really pitiful and pitiful. You dare to become a pirate with just a werewolf fruit. I really don't know what you think. CE's face was full of ridicule. Gemma Walter did not reply, and turned into an afterimage and rushed directly towards CE. Anyone who was teased like this would not be able to help it. Since the other party is so ignorant, then just kill him. There are many people behind him. The sharp claws revealed a cold glow, and there were traces of bright red on them, indicating that the other party had killed many other pirates. The distance quickly closed. Gemma Walter came directly in front of CE, and then swung his claws to pierce the air, intending to tear the opponent's body into pieces. Shave. With a swish sound, CE disappeared on the spot. Only an afterimage was left. Then there was another flash, and he had arrived at Gemma Walter's back and kicked her straight. Boom. This kick hit the opponent hard. Gemma Walter wanted to tear the opponent into pieces just now, but the next moment he felt a huge force coming from behind. Kick, kick, kick. In an instant, Gemma Walter lay on the board of the ship alone. CE just stood where Gemma Walter stood leisurely and contentedly, looking at him with a smile on his face. The expression was full of amusement. It was as if honey had been applied to his mouth, and he began to say, haha, I didn't expect that he was still in werewolf form. So that's how strong he is. Is this the strength of 50 million Baileys? Gemma Walter's face was dark and her eyes were full of anger. She got up and roared angrily. I'm going to kill you. With that said, he turned around and rushed towards CE again, faster than before, even the boat plank under his feet had been dented. Shave. Before the opponent could come, CE came behind him with 6 styles. Before the opponent could react, he kicked the opponent directly on the back. Gemma Walter fell firmly to the deck again. CE looked at each other with a mocking look. There is no way, even though both sides are zone fruit ability users, there is still a huge gap between them. Even Gemma Walter's younger brother can't stand it anymore, and they have nothing to do because they can't get involved now. Gemma Walter stood up. He took his saber directly and looked at CE. His eyes had now turned blood red and his teeth were clenching. Kill. He raised his knife again and killed CE. CE is expressionless, and sometimes you just need to play in moderation. Click. He just snaps his fingers. The opponent's progress slowed down, and after a few thuds, he fell to the ground. Gemma Vort leaves only one headless werewolf on deck. Just now he had a look of unruly expression on his face, but not long after, it was just a werewolf corpse lying on the deck. The other boys were a little stunned. They didn't expect that their boss would die like this, and the death was unclear. The whole process was being suppressed and beaten. Some of the boys had swallowed their saliva several times, and they were very nervous at this time. Didn't expect it to happen so quickly. Boom. Boom boom. Some guys kneel down directly. If you don't kneel down now, how long will it take? Seeing someone taking the lead, everyone else also knelt down. After all, sometimes survival is the most important thing. Seeing this scene, CE also raised his eyebrows. He was just thinking about how to deal with these people, but he didn't expect these people to kneel down directly. This was something he didn't expect. In order to save his life, the pirate would do anything. CE thought for a moment and knew what to do next. After switching to the other party's ship, he lowered the flag and handed over the previous route map to these younger brothers. You follow this route. After saying that, he lay down on the recliner again and didn't say what to do with them. The younger brothers looked left and right, thinking that the other party would deal with them directly, but they did not expect that the other party did not say anything, and in the end they could only act according to the other party's instructions. These pirates help CE take care of the ship, so he doesn't have to do it himself, so he is naturally happy and free. Time passed quietly. After traveling for a period of time, he finally came to the only way to escort the fleet to Tianshengzhen. Looking at the time on the map, there are still a few hours left. Then he called all the pirate boys together. Tap tap tap. Ce looked at everyone and made sure nothing was missed before nodding. The younger brothers thought that their old and new members would be assigned some new tasks, but everyone was full of energy and high morale. I called you here this time because I have a new mission. I believe you are wondering why the ship is parked here. We are going to do a big thing this time, and that is to snatch the gold from the sky. What I fear most is the sudden silence in the air. Because what did your new boss say? Steal gold from heaven. Some of them are very confused, because some people don't know what this means at all, but some people understand this situation. So those who understood this swallowed their saliva in unison. Is your boss so powerful? Still robbing the heavenly gold? Boss, are we sure we want to snatch the gold from the sky? Someone asked uncertainly. Ce nodded naturally. Other people who didn't know the reason all looked at him with inquiring expressions. When those people found out, their expressions also changed drastically. Is my new boss so powerful? How dare you snatch the celestial dragon's heavenly gold? Ce looked at everyone with a smile. He was waiting for these people's reactions. Although they were a little scared, they then started cheering. Oh. Okay. They are pirates. If they don't do something crazy, how can they be called pirates? They just exclaimed in surprise, and then they started celebrating. If they rob the sky gold, then their pirate group can become famous. Who doesn't want to become famous as a pirate? Everyone looked at Ce with eager eyes. They seemed to have found their backbone. They felt that this was their boss. What was the name of the previous one? He didn't look like a big pirate at all. I just rob other pirates every day, what kind of technical content does that have? If you want to do something big, you must do something big, and that is to plunder the gold from the sky. When Ce saw the reactions of these people, he nodded and approved of their current performance. Time flies by. At this time, a young man was on the observation deck and hurriedly started to spread the word. The general meaning is that a target has appeared ahead, so everyone should be prepared. The enthusiasm of these young men reached a boiling point again. After all, it was their first time to snatch the heavenly gold. Everyone waved their swords to welcome the upcoming carnival. But Ce is no longer on the ship at this time. And on the other side, there are 3 marine ships, and they jointly guard one of the luxurious transport ships, and there is a flag on the ship. The flag is clearly the symbol of world government. At this time, a man appeared on the bow of the ship. He was wearing a fish tank helmet and a space suit. He stood on the bow of the ship with his hands behind his back, as if the whole world was surrounding him. This person is the celestial dragons, known as the clan of gods. A smile appeared on his face at this time, because every time he escorted Tianshengjian, it was not too easy. It was just a simple formality, and his whole person now became high-spirited. Bring me my drink. Crash. A fish man-woman was slowly approaching. She had chains on her hands and neck, and she had a glass of wine in her hand. At this time, her face only looked dull, like a walking zombie. After the celestial dragons took the wine, he laughed loudly and said, "Haha, this is the family of gods, and the whole world will serve us." As he spoke, he looked at the sky while drinking, as if the whole world belonged to him. It was at this time that the originally clear sky suddenly became covered with dark clouds, as if it was going to rain heavily. Swish, swish, swish. Just hearing the sound, several people immediately flashed out. These people were wearing suits and masks. These people were members of the CP organization. They looked at the sky solemnly, and the leader among them said, "Lord Tianlong, please enter the cabin." The celestial dragons nodded immediately. He seemed to have discovered something was wrong, and immediately turned around and went into the cabin. Click click click. On the bow of the warship, there is a man wearing a black and white hood, with long dog-like ears on both sides, and a light yellow beard. This man is called Dalmay Shah, and he is the Vice Admiral of the Naval Headquarters. He also looked at the dark clouds above with a solemn expression. The dark clouds were also accompanied by some thunder and lightning. Tap tap tap. At this time, a soldier hurriedly ran over. "Sir Vice Admiral, we found a ship ahead, but we didn't see the other party's flag, so we don't know who the other party is." Dalmesh's face turned serious at this time. This was the first time he encountered such a thing since the transportation of gold from the sky. He originally thought it was just a relaxing errand, but he did not expect to encounter other ships. He just hoped that the other party just met by chance. Go and tell the opposing ships not to move any further, or we will attack. The soldiers immediately took orders and went down to make arrangements. Heavenly Gold must be escorted to completion, and nothing can happen. As if they didn't see any news from the other party, they still rushed straight towards Marine. And as the distance got closer, they cheered louder. Dalmay Shah on the warship also immediately ordered to open fire and sink the opponent's ship, and also to see if there were other ships nearby. Boom boom boom. The shells pierced the air and headed directly towards the Dark Knight ship. The boy above is not only not afraid, but also getting more and more energetic. Some boys used the cannon's mouth to resist. After all, they didn't like to be beaten passively. Boom. The bombs exploded on the sea and formed waterfalls. The waterfalls slapped the night ship like a big hand, causing the ship to shake. If these guys hadn't adapted, they would definitely be stumbling around. The night ship is getting closer and closer to the warship. Kakaka. At this time, layers of thunder and lightning appeared in the sky, and the thunder and lightning became more and more dense. And the dark clouds are gathering thicker and darker. It was as if dark clouds were closing in on the city. Dalmay Shah was holding a telescope at this time and looking into the distance. His face was dark, and he really didn't know what was going on. Go and notify Marine headquarters to come to the rescue. The adjutant next to him immediately took the order. But after a while, the other party came back, with a sad look on his face. Dalmay Shah's heart thumped, and he had a bad premonition. The adjutant came to him in a hurry. Sir, we can't contact the headquarters. It seems to be blocked. What? Blocked? What does that mean? Does it mean that the other party will also block it? He was so worried at this time that he didn't expect that the other party could still block communication. Be prepared for battle, we are encountering professional means. The adjutant also had a solemn expression on his face. He knew that if he couldn't get through this time, he might still be tried, let alone his official career. After the news was announced, everyone began to prepare for the next battle. These soldiers thought the battle was with the ship ahead. Dalmay Shah and the other rear admirals were looking at the sky, because at this time the thunder and lightning in the sky were becoming more and more dense, as if a heavy rainstorm was about to come. Click click click. Dalmay Shah looked intently at the sky, where thunder and lightning sometimes illuminated the entire sky. At this time, a black shadow suddenly flashed across the sky. This discovery also made Dalmay Shah know that the enemy was not only the ship in front, but also might come from the air. Let the rear admiral and some NCOs watch the sky, there are enemies in the sky. The adjutant also nodded. As more and more thunder and lightning occur, even some soldiers will look to the sky because it is too depressing at this time. Everyone stood ready, holding the weapons in their hands tightly. Wow! At this time, the clouds parted, and a white dragon's head poked out of the clouds, and there were some arcs surrounding the dragon's head. This dragon is naturally Ce, who transforms into a thunder dragon and begins to gather momentum in the clouds. He just looked down at Marine below. The soldiers on the warship were shocked, and even the other rear admirals looked surprised. Guy, Kaido. A soldier muttered. Some soldiers' legs have begun to tremble. Even Dalmay Shah thought this dragon was Kaido, because only Kaido is in the form of a dragon. Dalmay Shah was very surprised. Why did the other party come to rob the heavenly gold? Aren't they afraid that the world government would cause trouble? Ho! A burst of dragon roar sounded, making everyone present feel their ears buzzing. Then Ce's entire dragon body appeared in the sky, its length reaching 100 meters. Get ready, Dalmay Shah shouted, but he knew that this was just a moth flying into the flame. After all, this was Kaido. A giant dragon was entrenched in the sky, and streaks of thunder and lightning were flashing behind him. Moreover, there are large swaths of dark clouds gathering around, and the thunder and lightning are getting denser and denser, as if they are accumulating energy. This is not over yet. The wind was howling below, and the waves were beating against all the ships. Even the seawater would sometimes hit the warships, frightening some marines to panic. The deputy looked at the giant dragon in the sky. Although it put a lot of pressure on him, he still had some doubts. He wondered why the other party, since Kaido was here to rob the heavenly gold, only sent a ship with no flag on board, so he immediately informed Dalmay Shah of this suspicion. After the deputy expressed his doubts, Dalmay Shah also planned to take a closer look. The more I looked at it, the more something was wrong. In the end, he was sure that the other party was definitely not Kaido of the beasts, so there was no need to be afraid. The other party must also be bluffing. When he thought of how scared he looked just now, he felt that his face was dull. Then he said, "Go on, let's not be afraid of these people, because the other party is not Kaido, it may be other pirate groups." That's right, he thought the other party was just another pirate group. The order was given quickly. Some people finally relaxed. After all, Kaido, one of the four emperors, was still very intimidating. The night was getting closer and closer to the warship, and the shells were getting denser and denser. See in the sky doesn't care about this, because what he wants is the gold in the sky. The wrath of the Thunder Dragon. Kakaka. Suddenly, a lightning bolt as thick as an arm struck straight down, and the entire area was lit up by lightning. Immediately afterwards, the thunder and lightning was like a huge thunder snake, like a mythical spiritual beast, swooping down towards the ship below. The body of the thunder snake twisted, the electric current crackled in the air, and accompanied by the rolling thunder, it moved towards the target menacingly. "Resist, resist," the rear admiral below said hurriedly. Some people began to directly transform into fruits, intending to resist the falling thunder and lightning. Iron body, paper arts, tempest kick. The people in the CP organization perform the 6 moves. Sizzle. Click rub. After Gangjiao Gangfeng came into contact with the razor, he was completely annihilated. There are still people who are determined to try again. But the razor had already arrived, hitting the ship with lightning speed and directly hitting the crowd. At that moment, the whole world seemed to fall into silence, and the ship was instantly covered by thunder and lightning. It was accompanied by bursts of roaring sounds. The person in the center was directly disintegrated by the power of lightning, and only a little Kurozumi could be seen. Rumble. Thunder and lightning were still raging, and some people were knocked unconscious by the electricity, while others were transformed into a humanoid Kurozumi. It's not over yet. The next moment, a huge fireball was seen rising from the entire ship. The fireball was particularly dazzling from a distance. After a while, an explosion sounded, which was the sound of the ship being shattered by lightning. Debris flew everywhere, some falling into the sea, and some still burning in the air. The people on the deck were long gone, either fleeing or being swallowed by lightning. It only took a short time for a warship to burst into flames. On the warship in the middle, Dalmay Shah watched all this with eyes wide open. There were his soldiers on that ship. He is directly fruitful. His fruit is Zone Inu dog fruit Madara. Dog form. Wow. At this time, he looked at Ce in the air, his eyes bulging. Tap tap tap. He stepped on the moonwalk step by step and flew into the air. He wanted revenge. Ce's attention quickly caught sight of Dalmay Shah. He recognized the man, but it had no effect. Ce uses, Wrath of the Thunder Dragon, again. Click rub. The thunder and lightning gathered in the sky struck directly downwards with lightning speed. This time the target was another warship. Rumble. Some marines below just saw a flash of white light, and another ship was directly hit. It also met the same fate as the warship just now. Dalmay Shah only saw a warship turned into ruins again, and the flames soaring into the sky. His eyes were bloodshot, and when he looked at the figure in the sky, he must kill him. Ah! Anger directly defeated reason, and even the speed of moonwalk was a few minutes faster, leaving only a few ripples in the air. But there is no way, because Ce has already noticed him. Look at him actually daring to come up. Dragon breath. Red flames suddenly appeared in Ce's mouth. See. The flame was like a fire dragon, burning the air, and even the air screamed, attacking Dalmay Shah below. When Dalmay Shah saw the giant fireball, he did not retreat at all. And it also sped up. Shave. Dalmay Shah disappeared directly, and came to the side to narrowly avoid the flying dragon's breath. Ce was quite surprised that the opponent actually used Shao. He thought that the opponent would directly resist, but he didn't expect that the opponent would actually dodge. Since he knew how to use shaving, he wanted to give it a try. Crash. Ce, who was previously a thunder dragon, immediately transformed into a dragon-like form in the next breath. Dalmay Shah frowned when he saw the other party transforming into a dragon-like form. Because he didn't know the other party, but then he thought of his dead soldier. No matter who he was, he would make the other party pay the price. Shave. Shave. Both sides used Shao at the same time, and the air was cut, leaving only a little afterimage in place, and it also accelerated their encounter. On the main ship below, some Marines watched all this. One rear admiral frowned tightly. Which of them will win and who will lose? Everyone shook their heads. Hey, maybe the opponent will win, because the opponent is in dragon form. The adjutant said with a sigh. Others looked at the adjutant, wanting to hear him continue. The adjutant could only shake his head and continued, because Dalmay Shah is in Zone Madara's dog form. It may be said that the vice admiral has more experience, but when it comes to suppressing power, this is an insurmountable gap. Another point is that the opponent's thunder dragon form is the same as Kaido, because Kaido is in the form of Zone, fish fruit, phantasmal beast species, and blue dragon. From this, it can be judged that the opponent should be the Zone phantom beast fruit. As for what form it is, I don't know. Quote. So, we can't win. The adjutant nodded. This is an established fact. Everyone was pale because they knew that if they failed, they might die. Since we are going to lose, then I will have someone to back me up even if I die. Yes, there is the Dragon Man's younger brother on the other side. Let's attack that ship and kill all his younger brothers. Okay, even if this is the case, we won't lose. Even the adjutant nodded. He also approved this plan. And on that luxurious transport ship, Celestial Dragons was in the innermost room, surrounded by some CP organization members. Each of these CP organization members looked around with solemn expressions. Watching out for any eventuality, they are the loyal guardians of the Celestial Dragons, trained since childhood. Tianlong was also frightened at first. There were constant rumblings outside. He had long been hiding in the corner and shivering. Even so, the CP members spared no effort to protect each other. They also kept their attention above, always paying attention to the battle situation. They were also planning to talk to the world government just now, but unfortunately, it had no effect at all. The phone bug couldn't make calls, so they had to give up. They look forward to a turnaround. In the air, Ce came down from the sky, with some electric arcs flashing behind her. Below is Dalmay Shah, who is walking towards Ce on moonwalk. After the two reached a close enough distance, Dalmay Shah took the lead in launching the attack. Finger grabbing. A stream of gas was emitted, like a bullet, pushing the air directly towards Ce's chest. Iron body. View. A burst of brilliance flashed. The gas from the finger hit Ce, and bam, it was like a bubble, without achieving any effect. After seeing the opponent using iron body, the expression on Dalmay Shah's face finally became unbearable. Who are you? Ce did not answer, but simply disappeared. With a swish sound, he appeared behind the other party. Ce put his fingers together, and pointed out the mist appearing on his fingers at the same time. This was different from the opponent's, because there was still some arc on the top. Iron body. Dalmay Shah also quickly used iron body to block the attack, but he misjudged Ce's power. With a bang, the finger pistol hit its body, making the sound of bones breaking and the finger pistol entering the flesh. Ah! Dalmay Shah was in pain and thought of escaping by shaving. But it was too late, because Ce had already changed direction. Then he approached the opponent directly, put his fingers together and fired another finger pistol, hitting his right shoulder directly. There was a pop. His right shoulder was penetrated, leaving a hole the size of 2 fingers. Dalmay Shah flashed and retreated behind him. He clutched his right shoulder, then squinted at Ce. At this time, he realized the gap between the two sides. He thought he could suppress the opponent, but he did not expect that he could not catch a single move. But he didn't want to die like this. Even if he died, he wanted to tear off a piece of the other person's flesh and blood. Iron body. Dalmay Shah roared angrily and rushed towards the opponent again. Ce was also a little stunned. The opponent was injured and still wanted to attack. He just shrugged. As for the other person who wanted to die, he would just give him a ride. Shave. Ce disappeared again, and came behind the opponent with another finger pistol. Phew. Blood splattered everywhere and flesh and bones were separated, this time it was the other shoulder. Dalmay Shah staggered back a little. At this time, he was still stepping on moonwalk, and there was a little blood at the corner of his mouth, but he did not run away, because what he wanted to do was to tear off a piece of the opponent's flesh. Shave. He disappeared again, trying to sneak in behind Ce. But Ce's eyes were locked on him and he had already seen the opponent's trajectory. The speed was too slow for Ce. Shave. Once again, Ce came to the opponent's side before the opponent could reach him, and made a fist with his right hand. Zitsa. There were still some arcs flashing on his hands at this time, and he still used the Iron Body blessing. It's time to end. Boom. Ce's punch hit the opponent's abdomen with great force. Bang! The clothes behind him exploded directly, and the whole person was in the state of a shrimp. When it exploded, there were also some pieces of meat and some blood clots. PFF'd. Ahem. You, who are you? Dalmay Shah said weakly. Ce did not answer. Dalmay Shah didn't get the answer she wanted, and finally couldn't support her body and fell straight back. The adjutant below saw Dalmay Shah falling, looking sad and angry. But instead of being discouraged, they turned their grief into strength. Boom. Marine and the Black Knight pirate ship finally collided. The pirates on the pirate ship finally saw Ce's victory above them, so they happily started to ram into the warship. The first pirate boy jumped directly onto the deck of the warship. He originally came up laughing, but suddenly he saw all the Marines, and of course some rear admirals looking at him. Suddenly he felt a little scared. He swallowed and made no move. After a while, there were other pirate boys standing on the Marine deck. They had the same reaction. When all the pirates were standing on the deck, the man from before also gained confidence. When the Marine's adjutant saw that all the pirates had boarded the ship, he drew his sword and pointed forward. Kill, even if you die, you have to take someone to support you. Kill. Some people started some 6 forms, and some Marines started to use the fruit's abilities, but the zone fruit has not yet been specifically developed. As for the pirate boys, they were not discouraged at all when they saw Marine coming towards him. They brandished their swords and charged towards Marine. Suddenly there was chaos on the deck, and there were shouts of death everywhere. Ce looked down at the deck below, where Marine and pirates were fighting, and he was also heading towards the world government's transport ship. When the CP members below learned that Vice Admiral had been defeated, they immediately began to prepare to retreat, but it was still too late. There was a snap. Ce has fallen onto the splint. Crash. At this time, CP members filed out. These people were all wearing the same suits. The only difference was their height. They all held some weapons in their hands and immediately surrounded Ce. They stared at him with solemn expressions. As long as it was the opponent at the slightest movement, everyone will attack. Others were armed with flintlock pistols. At this time, a man in a suit came to the front, with a black mask on his face. A slightly rich voice came from under the mask. Your Excellency, we are organized by CP, and this ship is still the seat of Lord Celestial Dragons, so please leave in time. Ce, who is nearly 2 meters tall, looked at the surrounding situations. Even if he was surrounded by these CP personnel, he was not afraid at all. Haha, leave. I worked hard to get here, and it would be disrespectful to just walk away like this. Sir, we won't report this matter. You just need to leave. Of course, we will also compensate you with some treasures. What do you think? Ce shook his head. Then what are your plans? The voice was somewhat cold. Haha, you should know what I need. Are you planning to become an enemy of the world government? And on the other side, your brothers are being beaten hard by Marine. Ce sneered, being an enemy of the world government. Don't I know what your plans are? Even if I leave, you will hurry up and look for me. You will never give up until I am brought to justice. I already know the face of your world government, so don't be so pretentious, okay? The man in the black mask said coldly, are you really planning to become an enemy of the world government? Ce shrugged and did not answer this sentence. Kill him, the masked man ordered. After hearing the order, the surrounding CP members rushed towards Ce with their swords. Ce smiled, he had known such a scene for a long time. Iron body, shaved. The 6 postures are blessed on the body. Ce, who was on the spot, immediately left an afterimage and disappeared, and then began to rush towards the surroundings. The fist in his right hand was covered with arcs of electricity, and it flew towards a CP member like a bamboo, directly blasting the body of a CP member. There was a crash, and a flash of sword light flashed across Ciyi's back, but it disappeared the next moment. It was just an afterimage. Swish swish swish. Ciyi flashes throughout the crowd, sometimes as a punch, sometimes as a finger pistol, or as a gang kick. All that was left on the entire deck were screams and a sound like an exploding watermelon. The man in the black mask at the back was watching all this with cold eyes. He was also holding the weapon in his hand tightly at this time. If his men couldn't solve it, then he would be the only one to do it. These CP members are all junior members and have not learned the 6 moves, so they can only rely on people to pile up. There are only 5 people in the audience who can use the 6 styles. All 5 of them are intermediate CP members, and they have all reached the Vice Admiral level. These 5 people formed a cornering force around them, and they all had short swords in their hands. As long as these junior members are defeated, they can go up again. Then the other party's physical strength will be almost exhausted by then, this is what they think. Ciyi, who was fighting, also saw the 5 people around him. For him, these battles were just like playing house and could be solved with one hand. But what he wanted was to practice his skills. After all, he didn't have much after time travel. After the last person was eliminated, all those who fell on the field were CP members. At this time, his body was covered in blood, making him look like he crawled out of hell. He looked around with cold eyes. 5 people had already surrounded him. Your Excellency, retreat now and we won't stop you. Do you really want to get things done? Ciyi just shook his head. Why talk so much nonsense? At this time, he could only feel the blood in his body boiling, and his whole body had become warm, so he was completely unafraid of these 5 people. On the deck, Ciyi stood in the center of the deck in dragon form, waiting for the upcoming battle. 5 members of the CP organization, wearing dark suits and uniforms with cold masks on their faces, surrounded Ciyi. The 5 of them are all skilled users of the 6 styles, and their strength cannot be underestimated. There was a tense atmosphere in the air, as if it was about to burst into flames. Ciyi's eyes revealed a confident and relaxed expression. He knew this was just a practice battle, but he was ready. The battle begins. The 5 members of the CP organization rushed towards Ciyi at extremely fast speeds. They used the shaving of the 6 movements, and their bodies disappeared instantly, leaving only the afterimage shaking in place. The next moment, they had appeared beside Ciyi, the daggers in their hands pointing directly at his vitals. However, Ciyi did not panic. He turned slightly to avoid the enemy's attack, and at the same time counterattacked with lightning speed. He uses the iron body in the 6 postures, and his body instantly hardens like iron, resisting the enemy's attack. Then, using the paper arts technique, his body floated as lightly as a piece of paper, avoiding the enemy's continuous attacks. Seeing that the attack failed to work, the 5 enemies quickly adjusted their tactics. They leap into the air with moonwalk, an attack from a high position. However, Ciyi is not afraid. Standing firmly on the deck, using the power of the Thunder Dragon fruit, he gathered the power of thunder and lightning in his palms. Yangjiao! Ciyi shouted, and the soles of his feet suddenly hit the ground. A powerful force burst out instantly. The ground on the deck instantly cracked, and the power of thunder and lightning spread along the cracks, covering the 5 enemies in it. The 5 people were hit by the power of thunder and lightning, and their bodies froze in the air for a moment. Ciyi seized this opportunity and quickly launched the finger pistol among the 6 moves. His fingers were as sharp as the tips of spears, stabbing one of the enemies at extremely fast speeds. Hi! A soft sound came, and the enemy's mask was accurately pierced by Ciyi. The face under the mask showed a look of horror. He understood that he had been defeated, and what was left was a burst of darkness. 1 CP member still fell. Seeing that the situation was not good, the remaining 4 CP members used shaving to quickly retreat. But how could Ciyi let them go? The figure had disappeared, leaving only a little bit of thunder and lightning power in place. When he reappeared, he came to another side. The CP member also reacted quickly and directly used the iron body to defend, and the sharp blade in his hand also came towards the side. Iron body. Ce grabbed the opposite sharp blade with his hand, and the thunder and lightning was directly transmitted to the opponent through the sharp blade, and the thunder and lightning directly paralyzed the opponent. He also seized this opportunity and once again defeated another person with a finger pistol. This time there were only 3 people left. At this time, the 3 of them had already distanced themselves from Ce. They were all gasping for air at this time, indicating that although the battle just now was short, it was really fatal. Ce's figure disappeared again. When the man in the black mask saw this, he said quickly, "We can't escape, we have to fight to the death." The other 2 people also nodded. But there was still no change in the outcome, because Ce's power of lightning was very restrained against them. As long as he was hit by the power of lightning, there would be a brief paralysis effect, making him unable to move. Ce also seized this opportunity. As they were solved one by one, only one person was left. That's the person wearing the black face mask. At this time, he was already taking in more air and outgoing less air. Haha, even if you kill me, you will still be hunted by the world government. Just wait. Ce didn't want to listen to his nonsense and ended the other party directly. He was very satisfied looking at the mess on the deck. This time he finally had a good fight. Then he walked towards the cabin of the ship step by step. There were some junior CP members who came to stop them on the way, but Ce didn't want to warm up anymore and directly used the power of thunder and lightning to solve everyone. There was only one person left in the entire inner cabin, and that was the celestial dragons who were particularly rampant at the beginning. At this time, he looked around tremblingly. There were fallen men everywhere, and his mouth was shaking unconsciously. But he still pointed at Ce forcefully. I am the celestial dragons, but I am a clan of gods. Do you want to be hunted down by the world government? Ce sneered. Haha, being chased. What's there to be afraid of? It's you, what do you think I should do with you? Ce frowned in thought. Celestial dragons finally became afraid after seeing the other party's thoughtful look. I can tell you that I can speak within the family. If you want anything, I can give it to you. Even if it is the gold in the sky on this transport ship, I can give it to you. Besides, I can give you a lot more later. Can you exchange my life for this? Oh, you are quite smart. I thought the celestial dragons were just a group of people who only know how to eat. Ce teased. But no, everyone has to sink into the sea, otherwise they may really be caught, and it will be a big deal then. There was a snap. The heads of celestial dragons exploded directly, but instead of contaminating the surroundings, they exploded in the glass fish tank, which was full of red and white things. Ce clapped her hands and walked towards Tianshengzhen's room. After opening the bottom compartment, there were all Baileys inside, as well as some treasures and treasure chests. These Baileys were only 500 million and he thought there were a lot of them. Some of the treasures added up were even more. There were 3 treasure chests in total, all of which were wooden treasure chests. They looked extremely ordinary, but he would not underestimate this wooden chest. King Luffy's rubber fruit is a wooden treasure chest that looks particularly ordinary. But he was in no hurry to open it. Goozy, all Baileys are fully charged. Beep. Recharge successful. 500 million was successfully received. All treasures must be redeemed. Dip. The exchange was successful, and the account balance is now 520 million. Ce looked at the little money with a smile on his face. Here Ce is enjoying it. And on the other side. Next celestial gold connection point. There are 5 warships here, and CP members are waiting on the deck one after another. They have not waited for the arrival of the transport ship, and the anxious ones are even more anxious. Even the phone bugs couldn't reach them, which really made them anxious. At this time, a CP member wearing a red mask arrived. He was also wearing a black robe, but there was a red moon printed on the back, and his code name was Hongyu. All employees bowed their heads respectfully, even some members wearing black masks had to bow their heads. Black masks are mid-level members in the CP organization, while those above are red masks. These are senior members with admiral strength, and they also manage an entire area. Hongyu looked at the people around her with cold eyes. Everyone was so frightened that they quickly lowered their heads, not daring to look into each other's eyes. Haven't been contacted yet. A black mask quickly stepped forward. Sir, we haven't contacted the transport ship yet, and we haven't even had any contact with Marine. Hongyu narrowed her eyes, and the terrifying aura spread to the surroundings, causing the other members to shudder. Are you Silver Wolf? The Black Mask member quickly replied, yes, Lord Hongyu. Okay, what do you think you do for food? Can't you do this? Do you want to go back to train again? Silver Wolf felt himself kneeling on the ground and said tremblingly, Sir, we really have no way to contact you. Humph, you're a bunch of trash. If you can't even contact me, what use do you have to me? It's better to have a dog. There is a son of God on the transport ship. If anything happens to him, everyone will be responsible. Silver Wolf's forehead was pressed tightly against the ground at this time, and he didn't even dare to breathe. The other members behind him were in the same situation. They didn't know that the Son of God was actually on the ship. All were kneeling on the deck. Go and notify the nearby marine and ask him to go over and see what's going on. Okay, I'll go handle it right away. Hongyu just looked into the distance, and his heart was full of worry. On the other side, Siyi hurriedly opened the lucky wheel after seeing that the recharge was received, and then stared closely at the 10 consecutive draws below. If it weren't for the lack of money, he would have drawn it long ago. Then look at the single draw next to him. Laugh. Before, a single draw was 10 million, but this time there are 500 million, which can be drawn 10 consecutive times. Guzi, hit him 10 times in a row. The turntable was spinning in front of me. After a while, 10 boxes appeared. 3 of these 10 boxes were red, 1 was pink, and the other 6 were black. This was the first time he knew there would be different colors. Open 6 blacks first. Hey, congratulations on getting a pair of seastone handcuffs. Hey, congratulations on getting the seastone chain. Hey, congratulations on getting the iron sword X1. Hey, congratulations on getting a set of armor. Hey, congratulations on getting the artificial devil fruit bison form. Hey, congratulations on getting lucky points +1. Siyi looked at the rewards above with a dark face. He wanted to uninstall the system. This black box was of no use. And artificial devil fruit, who wants this? Ignore other things, because one thing attracted him, and that was lucky points, which he really didn't know much about yet. Guzi, what are these lucky points used for? Oh, the current host cannot view it. Please upgrade the host to VIP 10 to view it. Siyi. He sighed and decided not to care about the system. Let's look at the remaining 4 boxes. There are 3 reds and 1 pink. Open this pink first. Hey, congratulations on getting the junior armament hockey. Siyi's eyes lit up. It turned out to be armament hockey. The higher up the battle, the more necessary this is. If he had armament hockey just now, then those CP members would be as simple as chopping melons and vegetables. There is no need to use any 6 moves to kill the enemy. Shake his head. Then he looked at the remaining 3 boxes. Now is the most exciting time. Open the first box first, and the red light will shine. Hey, congratulations on getting Conqueror's Hockey, skilled. Siyi was breathing a little heavily at this time, and it turned out to be the 1 in a million Conqueror's Hockey. This was such a surprise. He felt that his luck was really good. Next comes the second box. Another burst of red light flashed, and this red light illuminated the entire cabin, filled with red clouds. Hey, congratulations on getting Observation Hockey, skilled. Am I a child of luck? I actually used the sight color. Charlotte Katakuri, one of the generals of the Big Mom Pirates, has the sight color, and the sight color can temporarily predict the future. Siyi just felt his heart beating suddenly. He didn't expect that his luck would be so good. After feeling happy for a while, he calmed down. Now that Conqueror's Hockey is available, it's really not that good. Ha ha ha. Conqueror's Hockey, I actually have them all. After calming down for a moment, he looked at the last box again. He was looking forward to what the last box would bring out. There was another flash of red light. Hey, congratulations on getting Armament Hockey, skilled. I'm most afraid of the sudden silence in the air. System, I'm N asterisk 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 asterisk, UF asterisk asterisk, I want asterisk asterisk asterisk. After Siyi scolded for a while, his shoulders were rising and falling in anger. This is simply a deceptive system. So what was the purpose of giving a pink box before? Can this be repeated? Although he was angry, he didn't expect to get these things. Hey, since it has happened, so be it. Guzi, extract all hockey. Dip, Extraction successful. There was nothing unusual at first. After waiting a few seconds, suddenly, an inexplicable and powerful force surged out from the inside of the body and went directly to the limbs and bones, spanning the meridians, bones, nerves, muscles, and blood vessels, and finally reached the blood directly. The blood then travels to the heart and then flows throughout the body. Ce only felt comfortable all over her body. This kind of comfort was unprecedented. Before she could react, Ce felt a warm power welling up from the depths of her soul and gradually spreading throughout her body. This power made him feel peaceful, as if all sounds and colors disappeared at this moment, as if he was in the vast universe. The next moment, a stream of heat surged out of Ce's hands and instantly flowed throughout his body. This power made him feel full of strength and vitality, as if he could move forward bravely even in the face of thousands of troops. After a while, Ce finally took a deep breath and opened her eyes. The moment he opened his eyes, a sharp light burst out from his eyes. Looking at the body again, it is stronger than before, and the muscles are like sculptures. Wow! Both arms immediately turned black. To his knowledge, armament haki. It is a defensive and offensive ability that strengthens the user's body and weapons, making them harder and more powerful. This ability allows the user to have powerful defense and attack power without using any equipment. In battle, the armament haki owner can use it to defend against the opponent's attacks, while also causing powerful damage to the opponent. Then came Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's Haki is a kind of king's qualification. People with Conqueror's Haki can shock other people's bodies and minds, and can also frighten people within a certain range. This kind of Haki can immobilize those who are weaker than themselves, while the strong can withstand this kind of Haki and fight back. In combat, the owner of the Conqueror's Haki can use it to intimidate an opponent, causing them fear and confusion, giving them an advantage in combat. After that comes Observation Haki. Observation Haki is a kind of perception ability. It can sense the actions and intentions of the other party, and can even sense the other party's emotions and thoughts through the breath. This ability can help users better understand the opponent's situation and make more accurate judgments and responses. In battle, Observation Haki owners can use it to predict their opponent's actions, react in advance, and thus dominate the battle. These three types of Haki occupy different positions and can be applied to different scenarios. He already knew these things in his previous life. Then he checked that the balance was still 420 million. Looking at the money on it, he wondered whether he should draw a lottery. In the end, I decided to wait until later. Guzi, open the system panel. Host. CE. Strength. Accurate Admiral. Fruit. Zone Fish Fruit Phantom Beast Species Thunder Dragon Form Unawakened. Haki. Conqueror's Haki, Armament Haki, Observation Haki, Skilled. Technique. Marine 6 Styles Proficient. Backpack. None. Noble Level. VIP 2. Lucky Points. 1. Well, the panel looks much better now, but why is it only Quasi-Admiral? Not Admiral level. But then I thought of something. It might be that I haven't developed it well enough, or there are other reasons. It doesn't matter, I will reach the Admiral level anyway. As for the Noble level below, 100 million is the second Noble level, which means that it will not take long to upgrade later. Shaking his head, he looked at the remaining 3 treasure chests. He suddenly felt like he had opened a blind box in his previous life. Then he opened the first treasure chest. There was something inside that shocked Ce. He didn't expect that there was such a thing here. This is a piece of wood, but the texture on it is particularly delicate, and the wood is also particularly clear. Ce also knows what this thing is, it is Adam the treasure tree. This tree is usually used as ship timber. After the second treasure chest is opened, there is a crown with gems on it. Isn't this a kingdom that used its crown as a mortgage because it couldn't afford the heavenly gold? These celestial dragons are really domineering. The third treasure chest opens. Inside is a devil fruit. This devil fruit is green all over, and there are branches on it. It smells full of nature. He didn't have a devil fruit illustrated book at this time and didn't know what kind of fruit it was. But just take it away. After looking around again to make sure nothing was missing, he headed towards the deck. After arriving on the deck, breathing in the slightly salty sea breeze, his strength had changed at this time, and he even looked at the surrounding scene slightly differently. Just when he was preparing for his next move, he suddenly caught sight of someone coming from the other side. And one of the auras was very powerful, which made his eyes freeze. Because this aura is definitely admiral level. On the other side of the sea, 3 warships cut through the waves and rushed towards Sea. And in the middle, there is Sakazuki, one of the 3 marine admirals, wearing a cloak of justice, a dark red suit, a corsage rose black leather gloves, and some scars on his cheeks. His face was slightly swarthy. After all, if he wasn't doing anything serious, who would come to save a celestial dragons? Akainu-sama, our destination is ahead. Akainu nodded expressionlessly. Suddenly, he narrowed his eyes and looked at the position in front of him. He also felt Sei's aura, and then said to the soldiers behind him. Speed up, there's someone ahead. Yes. Gold transport ship in the sky. After Sei sensed the opponent, he was thinking about whether to fight or to retreat directly. Thanks for watching.